Um, okay,
I'll
so
take minutes.
thank you, Debbie. So the first thing we want to do, just to get out of the way, is approve the minutes. Our last meeting was March of this past year, and we'd like to just approve those minutes. And I will make a motion to approve those minutes.
I will second it.
Thank you. Want to vote?
Yep.
Approve.
Okay. So all approve.
Could you recirculate those minutes just for our records?
I did. I sent them out this a little while ago, David. You should have that.
Send an email.
Yeah, I sent the wrong ones. I sent November. This is from March. Sorry about that.
Okay, if you sent them out already, I'll look for them.
Okay. Okay. So Jerry, I was just telling the group, I think that our goal, a year ago, we set up this CSC task force, which has been great. And we've done a lot of sort of backfill of figuring out what we've done and trying to figure out just the program and how it works. And I think that we've all come down a very steep learning curve. But I think where we are now is we really want to sort of get to something tangible, which is to become a bronze certified community. There's 12 other bronze communities in Westchester, and there's about 85 other bronze communities in New York State.
Yep.
And I just want to share with everybody, and if you know this already, I'm sorry if I'm being, redundant, but I'm gonna share my screen, and if I could figure out how to do this, because I'm always a little lame, but share screen, okay. And I just want to bring up a file that I've been working on just to keep my mind straight, because it's sort of a complicated, it's just an administrative process. And what I was saying is it's not a rolling certification where once you get your points or your activities, then you could apply. There's only certain application dates per year.
So Alan, I think Dennis has joined us.
Oh, great. Hi,
You
Dennis.
on?
Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hi, you're joining us at a perfect time. We really haven't gotten too far, so I'm glad you're able to join us. So Dennis, I'm just going through sort of what it would take for us to achieve a bronze certification, which is, the first level status in this Climate Smart Communities program. And the application deadline, the next one, is January 6th, 2023. And I personally would love to see us make a push to get there. And basically what we need to do, we've done a lot, but what you need to have are 2 mandatory activities, which we've completed. And that was setting up this task force and assigning a coordinator. So we've checked those boxes. We need to do 3 priority actions, which I'll discuss. And we need to have a total of 120 points in the program and 4 pledge elements. So there's, I think, 12 pledge elements, and within each pledge element, there's like all these different activities. So it's just making sure that you're hitting on a few different things for the program. So does everybody see this Excel file?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first sort of block of items, the task force, the coordinator, the community choice aggregation, and social media, those are things that the village has done or we've done as a committee. And I've actually submitted the documentation. So it's all residing in our portal. Okay. So we have 51 points sitting there right now. And it just sort of sits there until we have the 120 points. The next block of activities, residential organic waste program. So that's a multi-tiered activity. And we've done really all of them, because now we're, we started with having a food scrap program, and then we did the pilot, and now we have pickup. So we could get probably up to 22 points for that. I haven't submitted any of those documents because it's a lot. But that is something that I can do. The community campaigns, which we've done last year for community.
Ellen, could I interrupt there for a sec?
Go right ahead.
It seems to me that the village staff should be helping you as opposed to you doing it all on your own. And I'm wondering, Jerry, is there somebody that you can assign to help us with this? Because we're struggling by ourselves and I don't think it's fair.
My office would do it because I am part of this committee, so my office would do it. And I already have what I calculate should be 8, 11, 53 points so far that we can submit additional to our 51 points.
Okay.
That's
That would,
great.
that would be great, because it is an administrative process, and I am not the keeper of a lot of these documents.
No,
So
we
that's
are.
why,
We-
the ones that I've done, I was able to do because I had those documents, or Sally gave them to me. But it becomes a bit of a fishing expedition. So that would that be Courtney?
It would be Courtney, Neary, and Dan. But Courtney would be submitting, Dan and Neary would be working to obtain the documents from different departments, so. I'll send
Because
you
I'm
the-
happy to sit down with Courtney, because I, first of all, I have the login, but I do have some of the documents, like, for example, for the food scrap program. It's a lot of different things. And so I think it's just really maybe me working with someone and just sort of getting it done. So if Courtney just could be informed that, I'll be reaching out to her, and that we could do that and just get that done.
Mhm.
I'm just curious, when you say 53, what was that?
I'll send it to you right now.
Okay,
I'll send it to
Um,
everybody.
because I had in my plan subtotal, that's sort of, I came up to 42 points, and then that totaled 93, which means that we need 27 points of new stuff, new things that we need to do. Keeping in mind that 3 things that we do have to be priority, which is that P in that column.
Yeah.
So the alternative fuel infrastructure, that's priority. Something that I want to discuss, the greenhouse gas inventory in a moment. But if Neil is able to finish the sustainability section by this time frame, that's a priority item. It's not a lot of points, but it's a priority item. So the Hudson Valley Resource, I forget what the C stands for, but whatever. They reached out to me, and I think next week they're going to be coming out with resources to help communities do either a government operations or a community greenhouse gas inventory. And I know, Jerry, you said that we've done one, but I think it's been over 5 years.
That's correct.
And the Hudson Valley is really trying to encourage communities to update that, because that's sort of step 1. So once you know what your baseline is from where you are today, your inventory, then you could do the next thing, which is, a climate plan, and come up with sort of goals to reduce, whether it's 10%, 20%, whatever. And I think that would be an interesting exercise. To David's point, we need somebody's help in the village to do that. But that's a priority item, and there are going to be grants available in the fall. I don't know what that grant money really is for, or how much it is, but that's something that we should have more visibility on in the next, I'd say 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other point, is there's a lot of grant money floating around out there. And Jerry, if we can have some expert help in trying to, I know we have a grant, or I think the village has a grant specialist that's supposed to be helping us, or the village, on applying for grants, but this is an area where grants are available.
So I just sent you an email totaling up the points. And it looks like we need one more priority. Because the community, the comp plan with sustainable elements is complete. We just need the BOT to approve the comp plan. We're there. So Neil was hired to just wrap it up. But as far as organic waste, we have the organic waste program. We did do the campaign for grid rewards and community solar. I know that there was a push for that. I don't know, Ellen, maybe 6 months ago, 5 months ago. We signed the contract with Blink, which is the charging stations, and we have more than 7 charging stations. So that gives us 16 points, so I miscalculated on that. And the LED streetlights, we have the NYSERDA documents, we just have to provide. But we did the LED streetlights a while ago.
Yeah.
right?
Could we just go back to the thing on the EV charging stations?
Did you say you signed that?
So that's sort of news to us. So that's great news, but it's definitely news to us.
I think we have
So-
12. I think we have 12 charging stations coming in.
So, okay, I don't know if we get the points based on the fact that we've contracted or that they have to be there, but do you know the timing of when they will be installed?
I can find out and I'll include the CSC on the email.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So that's actually great.
Thanks for pushing that, Jerry.
Yeah,
yeah. We needed it because, there's too many electric cars floating around, so we needed it.
no, we're, you're preaching to the choir on that one, so that's great. I guess I've been seeing this email coming around from this woman, Myrna, about, do you know what I'm talking about? About grants for she keeps trying to follow up to get information on grants for charging stations. I don't know what that's about. And if that's separate and apart from this, but are we doing the sort of the turnkey where Blink?
That's what I wanted to do. That's what we did.
Okay, great.
Turnkey, we don't own them, we don't service them, we don't install them, we just get 5% off the top.
That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, so you're saying that
So there's an extra 10 points there. So in fact, if you look at my email, you can add 10 points to that total. That gives us a little bit more in the way of points. The
Okay.
LED streetlights, we did that already, so we'll provide the documents.
right,
Okay. Fleet inventory, Ellen, you're gonna have to probably turn that over to us because if there's more intense work that we need to do on that, we can do that here. I can have, because NERI manages the fleet inventory for the village, including motor vehicle and insurance requirements.
yeah, so many months ago, Neary sent me, probably after our last meeting, he sent me the fleet inventory, but it was missing some of the required items. And when I went back to him, he said he was still working on it. Now, from a point standpoint, I don't think we're going to need it. And from a priority standpoint, we don't need it. But, again, this is all stuff that we should have and do. But what he had sent me back in the spring was just incomplete. So,
We can finish it.
okay,
I
You know,
think-
it-
Now, Ellen and Jerry, wasn't there also, at some point, we were talking about training of village employees in something or other? I don't know whether it was energy code or operation of equipment that got us points. And I think you had said, Jerry, that you were doing that but thinking about doing it. Am I misremembering?
no, you're not. There's energy code enforcement training that's offered, I believe, twice a year.
Mhm.
And as a community, you're supposed to, I think, do it once a year. And I don't think the village did it.
Yeah, Dennis would be able to. Tell
Yeah,
us
Dennis,
whether we-
my understanding was that you guys did not do it this past year.
That may be correct.
So there's multiple training classes. I'm not sure of which class you are speaking about, but I've taken 4 energy courses this year. So I'll go back and get the classes that I did take, and there is a point system that does go to the state for those classes that I've taken. So what I'll do is I'll dig into the email and forward you the info of the classes I did take. And if you hear if there's any class that specifically is entailed to what we're looking for point wise, let me know. And I'll look into it a little bit further. So the NYSERDA class I took, I think it was in May. So I did take a class from NYSERDA that was given by NYSERDA.
That's interesting. 'Cause let me just quickly look at my email for it, if that's okay. Energy code.
And also sometimes when taking the classes, it does not come back to the municipality directly. It would come back to myself or to Frank, and then we would have to submit it back to the village. So I'll go back and look at the emails.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great, because I can't find it right now, but my recollection for some reason was that the dates this year did not work. But if you guys did it, that's sort of easy points right there.
Yeah, it's
We
hard
just
to
have to
imagine
determine.
that one of those 4 classes wasn't the right one.
You remember that? Okay.
And that's not on this list of things that you
But it
sent out.
could, but it could be,
Right, but it's not currently on the list.
right?
Another big number is the stretch energy code, which I think we considered as a committee and
Right.
actually had recommended it to the board. I'm not sure where that stands.
Mayor was okay with it, so we just got to get it on the agenda.
I think
It
I think
looked
the
like the
last
building
time-
department already did most of that work, so it wasn't that much of a stretch. No pun intended.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think-
that gives us 10 points. That could actually get us virtually to the bronze status.
so. My recollection was that as Frank was retiring, it was going to wait till after that. Correct?
Yeah, he's not. I talked him out of it.
Okay.
Oh, good.
He's not retiring?
He's not retiring.
Nice, okay.
So we can then start pushing ahead with that.
Yeah, I already mentioned it to Tom. I already mentioned it to the mayor. And he said, if we're already doing most of the work, where's the harm? And I said, no, there really isn't. So,
Let's
Okay.
go for it.
And a quick, was there any update on community solar at wherever that is?
Taylor's Lane,
Yeah, Taylor's Lane.
there's no update on that. Because I think they're potentially waiting for a change of the people who sit in the seats in November.
Got it. But it's still a possibility.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, a stronger, Dan, a stronger possibility, because there's a champion there. Used to be a TV reporter. He's
Yeah.
pushing hard, yeah.
Okay, good. Good news. Everything takes time.
So hazard mitigation, Ellen and the group, we completed ours. We submitted to the county. The county approves a total county plan. And then we kind of submit the hazard mitigation plan as a county team, as a group of municipalities, the 40, whatever we are. We all submit it as a team. So we have that. We have that, and it's gone through all the steps of the public notice and public comment periods and all of that stuff.
So this link here in this spreadsheet, it's a live link to that report.
Mhm.
So I would imagine if we just uploaded that, we would be able to get credit for that.
Yep, especially since we've gone through the requirement that the county puts us through, because we can't, so because during incidents of like, Ida or something like that, we run our local response and recovery, but we all work in tandem with the county. So that's how we do it.
Okay,
So it's a big plan. It's a big plan for everybody that the state requires each county to do. Okay, I'm not sure. We have a grant writer, as David was saying, we do have a grant writer. I mean, we've been killing it. In the last 7 months, we've gotten $10 million worth of grants. So they know what they're talking about. I mean, they know what they're doing. So all I have to do is, Ellen, get some kind of a link or something from you. And I'm sure I get these because I get, I'm over 1 million emails since I've been here. So I get these, but I don't know if they're, appropriate for us. You know what I mean? I get all the announcements that everybody else gets, that David gets in his business or at his firm and all that. So I just don't know which one is which for us.
well, so I think you're referring to when I say the DEC grant will be available in the fall.
Yeah.
So again, that's a priority item that, because it sounds like we're okay on the points. We're going to be okay on the point side to achieve our goal, but we need to have these 3 priorities. So we have the charging stations, we'll have the comp plan, And then this inventory, and I think that I don't know what's involved with doing that. Is it, I mean, you said we did it 5 years ago, and I don't really know what the money would be involved to need a grant, but there are going to be grants for that purpose available in the fall. And when I get information about that, I will forward it around and I'll make sure that it's sort of a highlighted item. Because I actually, interestingly enough, heard from Eleanor Peck, who's our liaison to this program. And she reached out to me just yesterday, interestingly, about this. So I told her we're having a meeting today and I'll bring this up. I'm sure it's a lot of work. It's a lot of points. And I think a lot of the points are commensurate with how much work is required. So I think it's going to be a lot of work, but I think it will be, we're doing this for a reason, right? We really want to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So if we sort of know where we are and can sort of identify sort of areas, whether it's in, municipal properties or, homeowners, then I think we could take more concrete steps, and next step is come out with plans of what to do, to decrease those greenhouse gas emissions. So I'd love to see that happen. I'm happy to really help drive that process, again, with the help of somebody sitting in your office, Jerry. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I think it's easy to say, oh, we could do this, do that, but we really need to have a plan, because we're, August, we know is going to come and go. And then we just have September, October, November, December. We have 4 months to really get all this done into the portal
Mhm.
to be eligible for that, January 6th deadline. And I mean, I just hope that everybody's sort of on the same page, if that's everybody's goal to do that.
I'll go last.
What?
I
I
don't
will-
think there's any doubt about that.
I don't think there's any, but I'll go last because I want to talk about a few things.
I'm done talking.
Do we want to reaffirm that at this meeting? Just have the record reflect that we reaffirm that as our goal.
Sure.
I'm in,
I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
By acclamation.
Okay, so I know we try to meet quarterly. I think we should probably, during this process, figure out if we can meet more often. Okay, because what I want to do is by the end of this month, upload everything that we can upload into the portal, Ellen, so that we are have a realistic look at our points and what they've accepted. Once we submit to the portal, do you remember what the turnaround time is for them to approve those points?
Yeah, I think it's late February. So when you put it in January 6th, you hear back in late February.
Okay, so we have until January 6th to put in all of our points.
Yes, we do.
And my experience in Jersey with Sustainable Jersey and the 4 certifications that I received there is that we have to put in more points than we probably need, because sometimes they will bounce something out.
Yeah, you know what, Jerry, let me take that back. I don't really view it that we have until January 6th, because to your point, Eleanor, who's our liaison, I'd really want to give her the opportunity to have time to review what we've uploaded, because she can give us insight if we're lacking in anything and if we should be submitting more. So we should sort of put some kind of time cushion in there.
Right, so let's do, from my office, you'll get all of the points that I can put in by the end of August. And by that time, we'll also have the determination from the building department classes that the individuals, our assistant or building inspector, has taken on and has completed, completed. Then we should regroup, if we could, a month from now to see if we need to really scramble and work hard on getting some other points, or it could be after the review. Who is the reviewer? Who is the liaison?
Eleanor Peck?
Eleanor Peck. Okay, so after we get some feedback from Eleanor, then we would meet to see where we stand, so that I can finish what I need to do here and push the comp plan approval and some other stuff.
Right. Jerry, the one thing I want to say about the comp plan is I did review it, maybe a few weeks ago, just because since it had been sitting on the shelf for a while, a lot's happened. Like, we've done a lot, so I wanted to just give Neil that update. But if you go into and I could send this around to everybody, if you go into the requirements of what has to be in that plan, we just need to be careful. We just need to be mindful of that. It's not just having the plan, it's that it has to have certain items or elements in the plan to meet the requirements of this program.
The chapter 4 is the sustainability chapter.
Yeah.
We have
Does,
to-
does Neil have the information, that information, Ellen? And if not, should we send it to him?
I mean, he and I talked about this because I had a one-on-one meeting with him. He and I talked about it. I mean, he's certainly aware of this program, so I could certainly
Okay.
send it to him, but he should be aware of it.
And we just re-upped
I mean-
another contract with him, David, so we can work with him on this. He's not doing it for free. For a while, he wasn't approved, but we just got a new contract with him, so he moved from one.
I mean, if there are requirements that he needs to meet, he's a smart guy. He can meet them if he knows about them.
Yeah. I'm gonna just quickly try to see if I can find it here.
Community repair, have we teamed up with the town? Because I don't know,
Yeah.
if
Yes, we have.
so does that qualify?
Yeah.
So we have those points, right?
So we did one last November, October, and then there's gonna be another one this coming October.
Okay. so
And
we have those-
Debbie and Liam are plugged into that. And, so long as we help volunteer and we have our, village seal on it and we have volunteers and we're promoting it, we get credit for it.
Okay, so when we submit at the end of August, we're gonna submit with that date. So that'll be our second planned event in 5 years. And then we could, determine whether she's approving that or not as well.
Right, so that would be the second event in 5 years, which is scheduled for either October 15th or 16th.
Okay. Very good. Do we need a resolution from the board? Or anything in any of these points would be a question for Ellen? I'm sorry, Eleanor, sorry. So in the past, in Jersey, the members of town council had to approve the submission of the application. I need to know if we need to do that, because if we don't get it on the agenda soon, things don't get done, right away during those wonderful village trustee meetings.
Does the stretch code need board approval or?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's a big one though, Dan, because that'll require, revision of the law and all that.
Right.
I think, Jerry, your question was whether the board needs to approve our submission
Yeah.
of our points or our submission, our application to be a bronze community.
I need to know that. We need to find that out. Eleanor, we should ask Eleanor that question directly. I could, but it doesn't matter who does. I'm just saying that those are the points that I needed to bring up while we're on this meeting.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm trying to find the sustainability thing.
The
What-
question was whether the board of trustees needs to approve any of our submissions, i.e. the submission to be a bronze community. I'm not sure that it does, but that's something that Jerry raised as a question.
Wouldn't that be more something that we need the village to, whether or not the village needs to approve it? I mean, what would Eleanor
That's
have to do with
what
that?
the question was.
Yeah,
That's
but
a-
I don't see what Eleanor would have to do with
I
that.
agree with Debbie. I don't know what Eleanor, I mean, this is a village thing. I mean, she knows the program. I think it's really up to what the village requires.
No, I need to know if Eleanor requires a resolution submitting the plan to sustainable, to the program. I need to know if the board needs to do that, or if we can just submit it from my office as the manager's office. That's what I need to know.
I'm still not clear. You need to know from Eleanor if the board needs to approve our submitting for bronze status?
Mhm.
I'll ask her that question. I would say the fact that we've already approved having a task force,
Mhm.
that's sort of, that's what we've done already. You know,
Right.
I
Should be.
yeah,
Because what happens is.
My impression was that you submit points. You're not applying for a bronze status. You submit points, and once you have the required number of points, you get the bronze status.
I hope that that's the case. I just don't want it to be that the Board of Trustees requires a resolution, is required to submit a resolution for the application, because then at that point, they have to review the application. They'll want to review the application. They'll want to talk about certain things, and it has to be on a work session. So if we can just submit points and upload them to the portal, once we achieve that 120 with the 3 priorities and the 2 mandatories, then we're good. We get it, you know, and we get that congratulations with the confetti that comes out, right? So that would be fine. I just want to make sure that Eleanor doesn't require the resolution of the board that the Village of Mamaroneck is submitting an application for bronze status.
okay. I will send that to her. Yeah, I guess it's a good question. We don't want to be caught flat-footed on that.
No, because they're a deliberating body. They deliberate a lot. And they want to make sure that if they're submitting something, they want to make sure.
This, however, is a no-brainer.
I know, but see, now you just cursed it. I'm just saying, oh my God. But yeah, no, I'm just kidding, of course, but you know. But that's it for me. So we will take this over, and if you guys want to discuss next meeting in September after Eleanor reviews, I commit to making sure that we have everything we can from the manager's office submitted into the portal with Ellen and Courtney doing that work. If you're okay. Courtney doing it, but you know, Ellen, you got to provide us the connection.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most efficient way is if Courtney and I just sit down and just hammer this thing through together.
Yep.
Because I may have some things and she may have some things, and I think that, you know, if she's the keeper of the files, whatever, like just even having that NYSERDA approval for the streetlights, like that's a 5-minute activity. If she has that document, then it becomes simple, because I've already done the work of setting up our profile and having our portal, that's all there. And now it's just a matter of doing that. The food scrap recycling program is tricky. You have to really, because there's so many points and different pieces to that. And the more the better, you know, so the more you submit, the better. And I have a lot of that she wouldn't have, because it's things like how we promoted it, or, you know,
Right.
volunteer, you know, I have a lot of that stuff that I think together she and I could spend a couple of hours and knock this thing out. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And I guess just getting back to the greenhouse gas inventory, is that something, Jerry, that you're willing to have, you know, Courtney or somebody take on as a project and try to put that in here? Because I think that's a important priority action.
Yeah, so the project for sure, but Dan is our grant czar around here.
Okay,
So if there's a grant that we want to apply, for the inventory, then I solicit Dan for that.
okay,
Mhm.
all righty.
All right, I just want to make sure that we get that inventory done before, that's of most concern to me, before the January 6th submission date.
Right, I mean, it's sort of interesting, is, I mean, grant processes can take a while, so, and again, I don't even know why that would be an expensive undertaking to need a grant, but
Right.
we'll learn more in the next couple of weeks about that, because I wouldn't want to your point, hold it up waiting to get the grant.
Yep.
Then you first start doing the work.
The grant is for doing the inventory, or for after the inventory is done to reduce?
Inventory.
You know, that's a great question, Debbie, because my impression is
Thank you.
that it was to do the inventory, but what you're saying makes more sense, that it would be for after, once you do the inventory, to
Right.
take measures to then reduce the levels.
Mhm.
Wouldn't seem, to your point, Ellen, it wouldn't seem that the inventory itself would be a complicated or expensive process.
Yeah, I wouldn't think
Maybe I'm
so.
missing.
And I wouldn't wait for a grant if it isn't that expensive. I would just approve it out of my budget and move forward with it. But
Okay.
I think, Debbie, your question is, that the inventory is supposed to identify areas of savings. That's why I don't think they have grants available after the inventory. See, the
Right.
inventory is supposed to demonstrate, areas where we could save money on energy and cost and those kinds of things.
Right.
Right, but then it'd be monies to help reduce those places where we're losing greenhouse gases,
Yeah.
right?
So this activity, it's really a prerequisite. So I think the concept of the program is you do
Right.
the inventory, and it's a prerequisite to then putting together a climate mitigation plan. I think that's what they're calling it. And that's really the meat of it, right? That's a really meaningful thing to do, is to have this climate mitigation plan.
Is there anybody that would know that question? Would Eleanor or?
Yeah. And again, she reached out to me yesterday and she said that more information is going to be coming out next week. So I'll keep an eye out for that. Eleanor's great about keeping me in touch with things. She's really exceptional. So we won't miss the boat on that.
Good.
All right. Well, I think that this was productive. Dennis, anything else from your camp?
Yeah, so going back to the classes as we were talking here. So I did take some of the NYSERDA classes and New York Stretch. I took 3 New York Stretch classes, 2 in full, 1 in partial. So I'll get all the codes and send that to. I'll gather all the information and give it to Frank, and then he'll send it out. And
So-
we'll touch base with everyone else in the office as well for any energy classes that any of us have taken.
So having taken those classes for the New York Stretch, are you comfortable with the BOT passing a resolution for the village to adopt the stretch code?
So I don't think that's my independent decision based on what I.
No, I'm just asking your opinion.
I think it would be fair, but that's something I have to discuss with my department head.
Right. I just wouldn't want it to be, obviously we want to see it happen, but if it's a hardship or something that just doesn't fit our village, we should discuss that. I know the town had passed it. And I guess I say this over and over, like if the town's doing it, I don't know why we're not doing it. Because
Sure.
Yeah, so I think we're all, excuse me one sec. Sorry about that. So everyone's in agreement that, you want to adopt the stretch code and we want to be more energy efficient. So let me do the legwork that I need to do to catch up and gather information from my colleagues, and I can send that out. On the other side of things, right, there are a lot of residents that have gone greener in their construction by using geothermal. So I'll get a list of the residencies and the number of residents that have gone with geothermal in their projects. So maybe that might be of some aid or assistance. And could you please send me the list of where these credits come from, and if there's anything that I see in that list that we might have missed, or I can go over and perhaps give more input on, would be great. And that's it. Now I'll send everything to Frank, and then he'll send everything out to the group, or however it might work out.
That'd be great.
I'm sorry, I'm not following. When you say list of credits, what specifically you're looking for?
So the point system, my past municipality said it was credits, and you're using the term points. So the list of how we can accumulate the points. So on your spreadsheet, it shows what we have obtained, right? I'm curious of the list of points. So if we have 40% of our community that have gone with solar panels, what the percentage rating is of using solar versus geothermal and so forth. So if we have let's just say we have 22,000 homes here in the village of Mamaroneck. Out of those 22,000 homes, we have 15% that are now doing solar. There is something in there for the point system or credit system, as I'm familiar with, that can be used to gain credits or points. That's it.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty elaborate set of procedures and points that are available on the DEC website. If we don't have our own document, I think it's pretty well publicly available in terms of what you get points for under the CSC program.
Okay, so
We're not-
I'll take it from there. I agree with that. I'll take it from there. I just thought there was something that we were using as a group. Okay, I'll get it from the DEC.
But we're not doing a community greenhouse gas inventory, are we? We're doing the government operations one, right?
I mean, we could talk about that, whichever one we think is most beneficial for our community. We could do either. We wouldn't do both. It's a lot to do both.
Right, but I don't exactly know what is entailed in either one of them, but I just assumed before when we were talking about the village operations, greenhouse gas inventory for village buildings, no? Did I misunderstand?
No, Jerry, do you have a preference or a thought on that?
I would have a preference because I would be able to manage whatever recommendations comes out of the government greenhouse gas inventory.
Yeah,
Wouldn't have much in the way of standing with the other one.
And it would seem the government one would be a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
think
If
so.
I have the keys to all the buildings and, all the areas that would require the inventory.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's,
Debbie's
Okay.
right.
So Dennis, there's no chat, but I think what you're looking for is climatesmart.ny.gov. And that will sort of have a list of all the actions and certifications, so you can read through the requirements on there.
Done. Thank you.
and Eleanor responded already to the question that she hasn't heard of a community having to pass a resolution to submit for bronze. The resolutions, which is what we've already passed, were to have the task force and the coordinator. So
I'll
I think,
need that email.
yeah, everybody should have that email. So I think we're good on that. Yeah.
Great.
All right, well, it's 11 o'clock. So unless anyone has anything else,
Should we try to set the new meeting, the next date while we're all on the phone?
Yes.
yeah, is this a good time for everybody? 10 a.m.?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Good for
not
me.
wonderful, but I can usually make it.
Okay, so let's see. How about, what about September 13th?
Well, don't we want to give
I'm away the
time?
first 2 weeks of September.
I'm
But-
sorry?
I said I'm away the first 2 weeks of September, but if everybody else's can make it, you shouldn't wait for me.
No,
I would prefer a week later, too.
a week later? All right,
Yeah.
well, not that it matters. We have our our CFTE meeting on the 20th. I mean, we could have it that morning if people want to, or we could have it Wednesday, the following day, the
I think it
21st.
works.
Yep, either one of those.
I can't do it on the 21st at this time.
Okay,
Having it before the meeting is probably a good idea.
Yeah,
you like the 20th?
Yeah, how about the 20th?
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock.
and that'll give time for Eleanor to review what we have organized by the end of August.
And
Yeah.
I'll make sure it's on my calendar so I don't forget.
Was that
Yeah.
it?
You know what,
September
I could,
20th at 10?
10, Deb, yeah.
Let Sally know.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
On Sally's calendar.
So
David,
10
my-
a.m. 10 a.m. on the 20th of September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could send out a calendar invite to everybody.
Great.
I mean, Jerry, just as a matter of course, I think that, you know, our committee, I don't know if it's true of other committees, seems to have a lot of snags with getting our meetings started. We get the Zoom link very late and then
Okay.
often technical difficulties. I just don't know if you're hearing that from other committees, but it's been a constant issue with our committee.
Every once in a while, but I do hear from other committees, but not that often. So we'll make sure that we focus in on that. And the other thing is that since it's an actual committee now, it's difficult for us to deliberate by email because, you know, there's that requirement that we're not allowed to. But if we just exchange information, then it's fine. So I just want to make sure that we're not, you know, when we meet, that we meet and we discuss everything. But I just wanted to send out that reminder again, that we don't email too much as a group. If we start doing that in the future, we just have to be careful that since it's a legitimate now full-blown village committee, that we don't make decisions over email.
Yeah. Okay.
There's always people watching.
Yep, I hear you.
All right, so I'm good for the 20th. We will work these next few weeks to make sure we get stuff in. And I know that the next meeting will be looking at single digit point problem and not, you know, double digit point problem.
All right, very good.
Excellent.
All right, well, I will
Great.
make a resolution, not a resolution, I will make a motion to end this meeting.
Second.
David,
All right, guys, thank you. This is really
Aye.
productive.
Thank-
Thanks,
David,
everyone.
Yeah.
All right, enjoy the last days of summer.
David, I sprayed around there last week. So
Pardon me?
I sprayed Maris, that organic adulticide,
Good.
last week. So it looks like adult pressure has increased, is probably a month ahead of schedule. I think a lot of it has to do with the rain and then the heat that we got. That
Yeah, there's a lot of mosquitoes around.
yeah,
So thanks for the spraying.
we're
Appreciate it.
taking care of it as we can.
Great.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Jerry. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
So
Bye-bye.
long.
Bye.